John chapter 11 serves as our text for today. We begin with the 33rd verse and read through verse 38. John 11, the 33rd verse. Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. And he said, Where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, See how he loved him. And some of them said, Could not this man who opened the eyes of the blind also have kept this man from dying? Then Jesus, again groaning in himself, came to the tomb. There was a cave, and a stone lay against it. And may God bless the reading of his word today. If I were to tell you that one of the longest verses in all of the Bible is John 11:35, Jesus wept, you would think one of two things about me. You would think at worst, he's lost what little mind he had. It's completely gone. Or at best, you would think, well, he didn't sleep good last night, or something's wrong, because everybody and their uncle knows that John 11:35, Jesus wept, is the shortest verse in the Bible. Shortest in number of words, I'll give you that. But the shortest in terms of value and meaning, no way, Jose. I'll not give you that at all. In fact, John 11:35, Jesus wept, in terms of value and meaning, is one of the longest verses in all of God's Word. The context for this verse is, of course, the arrival of Jesus at the tomb where Lazarus had been laid to rest upon his death. And when he arrived, as John tells us, Jesus wept. I want to give you 3 reasons today why this verse is so long and so lengthy in terms of what it means to us and what it does for us. First of all, this verse is so long because it shows us the perception of Jesus Christ. Notice what verse 33 says. Jesus saw her weeping, her being Mary, the sister of Lazarus. And then the verse says, he saw the Jews who came with her weeping. So Jesus saw, Jesus perceived, Jesus knew and took note of their weeping, their pain, their hurt, and their sorrow. And because of his perception of their weeping, Jesus did some weeping of his own. Here's what this tells us, folks. Jesus always sees our sadness and our sorrow. Jesus always knows our grief and our gloom. Jesus always perceives our hurts and hardships. Jesus always is aware of our problems and pain, our stress and our strain. Now, people do not and people cannot always perceive and know our tears, trials, troubles, and tribulations. But Jesus can, and Jesus does. So know this. While there may be times when no one in this whole wide world knows your struggle, Jesus does. He is the exception to the rule. He always knows. He always perceives our problems. And because this verse proves it, it's not the shortest. No. It's one of the longest verses in all of God's Word. Second of all, this verse is so long because it shows us the participation of Jesus. Verse 33 says, Jesus groaned in the spirit and was troubled. That Greek word there for troubled means trembled. Jesus literally trembled and shook. Question: why was he groaning? Why was he troubled? Why was he trembling? For he knew that he could and would raise Lazarus. So why was he groaning? I'll tell you why he was groaning. Because all those people were groaning. I'll tell you why he was trembling and troubled. Because all those people were trembling and troubled. You see, Jesus participated with them in their times of trouble. Now here's the difference between Jesus and us. When people are hurting, we can and we do feel for them. For them. And that definitely helps. But Jesus, he feels with them. And there's a big difference between feeling for someone and feeling with someone. And why is that? Because no two problems are identical. And why is that? Because no two people are identical. Our problems and struggles may be similar, may look alike, may sound alike, but they are not the same. I hear people say all the time, and I'm not being ugly here and I'm not nitpicking, but I hear people say, I know what you're going through. I know what you're going through. No. You do to a point, but you don't completely and totally. You can't. Because again, no two problems, no two people are alike. We can only feel for them to a point, but Jesus is different. He doesn't feel for us to a point. He feels with us all the way. There is no limit to his participation with us in our troubles. He knows, he feels, and he experiences everything that every one of us feels and goes through, no matter what it may be. So you remember this. When you have to walk through that time of personal hell, Jesus is not up in the stands watching you. He's walking with you through that hell, taking every step you step and feeling with you everything you're feeling. And this verse proves that. And because it does, it's not the shortest verse in the Bible. It's one of the longest verses in the Bible. And then there's a third reason this verse is so long. It shows us the passion of Jesus Christ. After Jesus wept in verse 35, note what the crowd said in verse 36. See how he loved him. See how Jesus loved Lazarus. When those people saw those tears begin to roll down that tan, strong face of that carpenter, and when those people saw that bronze, muscular body of that carpenter begin to shake and tremble, they knew what they were seeing. They weren't seeing an act or a charade or a show. No, they were seeing real love, genuine passion. When they saw Jesus weep, when they saw him shake and tremble, they knew exactly what they were seeing. So here's another precious truth for us, folks. Jesus Christ will always love us no matter what we're going through, no matter where we're at. There is no sad situation that can cancel his love for us. There is no terrible time or trial that can veto or void his love for us. There is no horrible hell that can cancel, end, or annul his love for us. Now, people, that's a different story. People can and will stop loving you in your rough, tough times. People can and will shy away from loving you in those hard times. Not Jesus Christ. In fact, in your hard times, that's when you feel his love the most, isn't it? Now, his love's always the same. It doesn't rise or fall or change, but it's when we're the lowest, that's when we feel his love the highest. When we're hurting the most, that's when we feel and sense his love the most. So, just as it was with Lazarus and Jesus, so it is with Jesus and us. Not even a tomb, not even a stone, not even death can separate us from his love. This verse proves that, making this verse not the shortest, but one of the longest. You've heard the phrase, less is more. Let me give you an example of that. The Lord's Prayer contains only 66 words. The Ten Commandments contains only 179 words. The government's regulation on the sale of cabbage contains 26,911 words. I rest my case. Less is more. But the greatest example is John 11:35. Jesus wept. 2 words in length, but countless in terms of love. Just 2 words at a tune, but words for every place. Just 2 words for one time, but words for all of time. 2 words for one crowd, but words for everyone. 2 words for one event, and yet they're words for every experience. 2 words that have a quick end, but 2 words that have no end. Jesus wept. I give you, my friends, not the shortest verse in the Bible, but the more I think about it, I give you the longest verse in the Bible. Jesus wept. Think about our Savior. He died for us. He rose for us. But He weeps with us. That, my friends, is a Savior. And that's our Savior. His name is Jesus. Big enough to save us, big enough to weep with us. Jesus Christ. Oh, how He loves you, and oh, how He loves me. How much? So much that He weeps with us.